Welcome back. Thanks for joining. This is part two in our series on a review of Bushcraft stocking stuffers. Thanks for joining. If you missed part one, I'll leave a link in the comments below. Thanks. The other big thing, my biggest thing that I'm most excited about are some of these. I have a bit of an obsession with tin cans. There's so many uses for tin cans, and I've been looking for some different sizes of tin cans for a while now. And my wife gave me a whole collection of these. Um, One of the reasons that tin cans are so versatile is because we can use them in a fire. So this is a char tin that I used. I've got a small tin here, a small hole here for some char, and then there's actually a little bit of char cloth in here. So this tin is okay if you just want to make a little bit of char cloth, but for igniting char cloth, it is very difficult to try to spark down into this. If you had, so char cloth you might be able to take out, but if you had some natural charred punky material, it is really hard to try to spark into this. So I can use this tin for charring material, but as for making a spark into it, it's not very good. This thing I think was maybe an old Band-Aid can or something. Not sure. But again, it's not the greatest thing for sparking into. This one is one that I purchased at the Self-Reliance Outfitter School. This is a what they is called online is called a tobacco tin, but here in Newfoundland, the traditional name for something like this would be called a chovy tin. So in this case, it has a little magnifying glass, and when you open it up very gently, I keep a couple pieces of paper in here simply to keep the dirt and the soot off of my magnifying glass. I want to keep the magnifying glass as clean as possible. So I can use this to make a solar ember to get my char going in the event that I don't have steel or I want to save my resources. It does have a magnifying glass. But because of the magnifying glass, you can't put this into the fire. So this is something to carry my char, but not something to make char. So I keep this up here just to keep the magnifying glass clean. And then in here, then I've got a couple pieces of lamp wick, and the ends of the lamp wick are charred. And then I've got some couple pieces of some rope, natural cotton rope. Some of these have knots into them, and then there's some other charred material down there. There might be a little bit of char cloth, but this stuff will take a spark very quickly. And then once you spark it up, you can take out your piece. If anything else is in there that's on fire, then you can just cover the whole thing up, and it'll extinguish it once it loses oxygen. It'll extinguish itself. So this is great for carrying char, but not for making char. Recently, then I picked up this one, and I thought that I could make char in this. I haven't. Obviously, it's new. I haven't used it yet. But again, my thought was that I would make and carry char in this. But again, it has a similar problem to this one, where it's a perfect can for charring things. I just bought this at a local automotive shop for, you can buy this just about anywhere, just a paint can. You can probably use an old paint can. Just punch a hole in here. So there is some char in here. But again, it's hard. If you did strike a spark down here, then it's hard to get your fingers in here to fish it back out again. So again, this is really, it's an ideal charring tin, but not an ideal carrying tin, or not an ideal way to work out of, we'll say. So then my wife found me a bunch of these little things. And again, I don't think I'm going to use these for charring. I'm not sure what I'm going to use these things for, but again, they are tin. They are fireproof. Right now, I think this one's just kind of full of chocolates, but I may find a use for these. Uh, Again, once they go on the fire, all this Christmas painting decorations, that'll all come off. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. But these guys, I'm tickled pink with. Again, so these make perfect charring cans. They seal up tight enough, so we could just punch a small little hole in there to let the oxygen escape, and then these would become perfect charring tins. But what's even better is we also found these, and they seem to nest almost perfectly. So then we have these these are empty, that just fit perfectly in here. So for example, I could put maybe a fire kit on this side and then maybe some charred material down here. And then if I take this out, now I have lots of room to strike a spark down into here, and then I can close it up and everything else would be extinguished. But I just love the way that these just nest together. That is absolutely perfect. All of these came from the dollar store. Here in Canada, we have a dollar store. So this one was $1.25. This one was $2.50. They're all labeled Christmas, so you may not find them in a week, or they may come out with an Easter one. I'm not sure. But right now, all these Christmas tins, I can still find them this morning, but you may not find them in a couple days. But like I said, they may come out next week as an Easter tin. And then we have this one, again, similar situation. Again, same size tin, just different coloring. And then these have things in them, so these are all like Russian nesting dolls. I love them. So that all nests together. And then in this one, I have another little tin. Again, this is just, I told you I have a fetish. They have another little tin, and in this tin, this is was an old peppermint tin, and in this tin, then I have, this is my flint, or one of my flint and steel kits. So then down here, and this thing just fits in there absolutely perfectly. Maybe a little too well. But this is a Fresnel lens. Actually, there's a couple in here. Again, it's for a solar ember. So if you're in nice daylight and you have some charred material, then this will ignite charred material. In Newfoundland, I would never in a million years rely on one of these. We just do not get enough consistent daylight without fog, without clouds. I have used it around here, but I would never rely on this consistently to ever work. We just do not get enough sun. We're just too far north, too far out in the North Atlantic. But that fits down there perfectly, and then a little lighter fits in there perfectly, and then a little steel. Now what I'm talking about with being able to strike downward, so that if this can is full of char, that I can simply strike my sparks downward and ignite everything that is tin. Imagine trying to do that with this tin. So trying to strike down into this and catch a spark, and then had to get my fingers down there and try to pull it out. This is just the wrong shape. Whereas this just works perfectly to be able to strike a spark down into the tin. So this is just the perfect little size to have. So here I have a Fresnel lens. So there's one way. I have a lighter. Even if the lighter is spent or is broken, I still have just a ferro rod that'll make a spark. Just a spark is enough to spark up the char. And then I have some flint and steel in here. This is just perfect small little kit that nests inside of here perfectly and then closes up. So this is one little kit that I can carry. And then in here then is pretty much kind of a duplicate. This is another magnifying glass that I think come off a pair of binoculars. I don't know where this came from. I've had it for a long time. But I'm just looking at the way this ring is here. I think this come off an old pair of binoculars. It's a little bit stronger, I think, than the other Fresnel lens that we had. But again, I still wouldn't rely on this 100% just for fire. But I have used this. And then down here, this is another thing that I just got for Christmas. This is a bow drill handhold. So again, so your spindle would sit in here while you're spinning your spindle. Makes a nice, perfect little handhold. But it is also made of high carbon steel, so it will throw a spark. So it is definitely multi-purpose. The edges on this thing are perfect 90 degrees, so you could use it to scrape off some tinder, make some fine shavings. Oftentimes, I would use the back of my knife to save the blade. I could use the back of my knife if I had a nice 90-degree spine to really shave off some tinder and get it really fine shavings. So this will also do the same thing and get some really fine shavings. But like I said, it is a sparker on its own. And like I said, will throw a nice spark. And it is, like I said, a bow drill divot. So this is a multi-purpose piece of kit. Does a couple different things for me. And then down here, then, again, I just have a new lighter. Fits perfectly in the tin. And in here, then, this one I just keep some small, not really small, but some large needles. So these again are doing some repairs in the field. Different shapes of needles, different sizes of needles. So for some sewing applications, these are great. Again, this one has a bit of a hook on it. And the reason that I like some of these tins is that I'm never worried about crushing a can like this and having all these needles poke through like a fabric bag. So if, for example, I was trying to carry needles in something like this, I'd always be worried that they would poke out through and then stab something else. And these tins, they're much stronger than plastic. You can really, you can, once you put the cover on this, I mean, like this thing would take a tremendous amount of force if it ever gets squat in the bottom of your bag or gets squat by something else on the trail. You can put it in the fire. It's not going to melt. It's just really, it's almost indestructible in comparison to something of this weight in plastic. So to me, this is much more useful given that it's metal than something equivalent of in plastic. I've tried plastic tins. They get down the bottom of your bag. They break, they get squat, they get broken up, and then you're left with sharp plastic shards in your bag that do more damage. So I find it fascinating that these things all just nest so perfectly down in here. It's just great that all of these things perfectly nest. I think I had that one here. So, as a fire kit, I mean, like just one of these on its own would be perfect, or one of these tins and then fill the rest with some char would be fantastic. In a base camp situation, then you could always take one tin out, leave another tin. It's just so practical. If I had a little bag to carry this in now that I could put it on the outside of my pack, would be perfect. I may take maybe some duct tape maybe and wrap around this, or if I had maybe a Velcro strap maybe just to keep this secured so it never really opens up. I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. Thank you very much for sticking with us until the end. We hope that you enjoyed our brief review of a few of our favorite stocking stuffers from this Christmas. If you like these kinds of videos, please leave a comment below, or even if you don't like these videos, leave a comment below. If there's anything else you'd like to see us do, leave that in the comments as well. As always, please subscribe, like, and share, and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Please enjoy the rest of your holiday season, have a safe and happy new year, and we'll see you in 2025 with new videos. Thanks, guys.